Hey guys, welcome to the Patriot News Network, and today we're going to talk about the DACA proposal that's come out of the White House. And it's got some interesting things, some horrifying things, but it's actually quite a deep play, as we like to say. So, what can we think about this? One of the things is that they're saying that it's a 10 to 12 year path to citizenship. Well, of course, Pelosi wants immediate citizenship. They want immediate voters now, and they need them to win the midterms. So a 10 to 12 year path to citizenship and the right to vote, even though a lot of them vote illegally anyways, well, they're illegals, what do you expect? It's quite unacceptable to the Democrats, but it's quite reasonable to Americans. So by putting that in, I actually think it should be 10 years, and then they get to apply to begin the process of citizenship. So if they can prove for 10 years that they can take care of themselves, work, support themselves, contribute, then they can apply. So that puts them behind other people that have already applied for citizenship by 10 years. That's probably fair, don't you think? Alright, so obviously Schumer and the Demo-thugs, they aren't happy because they want their voters, they want to sweep the midterms and impeach Trump. That ain't gonna happen. The other part of this is, there's several parts. So one of the other parts is that he's increased the numbers from 700,000 to 1.8 million. Why? Why did he do this? They should set a strict maximum number of people that may apply for this program to be those that already have been granted DACA, and that would be the maximum number at 700,000. That makes a lot more sense. So why is Trump handing over 1.8 million? And there's two possibilities. One is he's dumb as a stump. And I'm kind of going with that. I think he's probably dumb as a stump. The other possibility is by giving them so much more, they and have the Democrats still shriek about it, he's totally defacing, humiliating, infantilizing the Democratic rage, making them look like imbeciles, and going, hey, well, what's the deal? I gave you guys everything. Why are you all complaining? I think that's a big part of it. Now, I'm worried, and Coulter's worried. This higher number is not good. It never should have been in there. It doesn't make sense to begin the negotiations with a higher number. But there's scarier stuff involved. So, one of the secret plays here is, you see the mamas, they bring in the babies get their citizenship, and then the babies begin the process of legally bringing in their mother and father, which is their nuclear family. So now you've tripled the number. So if it's 2 million that Trump is saying, well then, and there's no hard limit, it's not specified as a hard limit, which is another frightening thing. But let's just say it is 2 million. Now it's really 6 million. And that's a lot of people. 6 million. Considering how many other people we're letting in already. So, it's not good. So all of this about being allowed to bring in your nuclear family, no. They actually, there was the, I forget the name of it, there was an earlier package on immigration put forward, and buried deep in the details was the fact that the parents would be granted legal status as well. This is from the Republicans. Can you believe it? Why are the Republicans continuously behaving like they just don't get immigration? all this Jorge Bush comprehensive immigration reform, the Reagan amnesty. At least Reagan regretted the amnesty and said he was duped. But Jesus, we have to learn from that, right? Never again. So, could our nation support and sustain 700,000 new Hispanics who have kept their noses clean for at least another 10 years before even beginning to apply for citizenship, which means probably another 7 years after that? Maybe they'll speed that up, though, for them, so it might only be another 2. Probably. We could probably do that. It won't be great. I'm not saying I like it, but you have to look at Obama and just say mistakes were made. Now, the hard line is, no, screw them, we don't care. And really what we should do is overturn this 60-vote requirement. They're scared to do it because if they do that, then when the Dems get in power next, they're just going to go nuts. So they're scared to do that. All right, what else is in the bill? Well, they're going to try to end chain migration and move to a points-based system. Well, that sounds great, right? Oh, yeah, except for the 100 million Indians that are trying to plow into the country and destroying our software jobs. And they're like, oh, we speak English. We are, oh yes, we have the perfect English because, oh yes. No, you don't speak English. You speak Pidgin. It doesn't qualify, but they say it does. It cannot be just a points-based system unless you get points for being from Europe or European descent. And when Pelosi starts shrieking about, this is a bill to make America white again, well, yeah, that's the whole point. We want a white America, a Europanic America, productive, hardworking people. But we're not going to get it. America's going to die. I'm convinced it can't be saved. It's just a question of how long it'll go down the drain before all the water's just gone. There's nothing but a desert left. So the points-based, merit-based immigration is clearly the way we want to go. But there also have to be limits. We cannot have it skewed so that we start blasting in all these Chinese and Indians. That's no good either. So it has to be more complicated. It has to really be laid down and figured out. Another thing is we need to return to the original citizenship tests. We can't be giving citizenship tests in Spanish with 3 questions. How many fingers do you have? How many toes do you have? And how many eyes do you have? That's not a citizenship test, but that's about what it's become these days. We need to get back to hard citizenship tests. We need to make sure they understand the principles of capitalism, liberty, the machinations of government, everything. Okay, so what else? Is this immigration bill decent? Is the Trump's DACA solution decent? Not really. Like I said, it has to be very strictly tamped down, locked down. Cannot be this open-ended amnesty that judges rule, another 20 million deserve it. It has to have hard numbers in the bill. But doesn't have hard numbers about the maximum number of people that can be put through this program. It's a blanket amnesty for 100 million Mexicans coming in. That's it. End chain migration. Yeah, they've been talking about that. And the visa lottery. Yes. But why can't they do those as their own bills? Why does it all have to be done as one big thing? Why can't we take up these issues one at a time? Why can't we take up funding for the border wall one at a time? Well, I guess because they say we need the Democratic 10 votes or 9 votes, so we have to give them absolutely everything on DACA. That's ridiculous. I say screw it, change the law. Let us pass budget bills with 50 votes, like it should be, or 51, or a majority, whatever, and get her done. What else? So Trump has come out and said we need much, much more funding for the military, and we're going to increase it to $718 billion. And we're going to grow the military and spend. The only thing I can think is he's planning to sack North Korea. That is the only reason that makes any sense. And if he isn't planning on sacking North Korea, and he's just trying to give more billions to the pig trough, that's a bunch of shit. And I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I kind of hope he wipes Kim Jong-un from the map. Don't we all? So, we'll see what happens. The reality is, the Pentagon is a bloated beast, and you can't just look at it as their DoD budget. You've got to take in all the other things. First of all, what about all the intelligence agencies? Those are all defense, supposedly. And you've got to look at all the Veterans Affairs stuff and the hospitals and you've got to put it all together. And I think when you do, we're already spending over $1 trillion. It's way too much. So, at the very least, they should be freezing the defense budget. They should be freezing everything. We should probably be trying to get a 5% budget reduction every single year, so that at some point, 5 or 10 years in the future, we can have a balanced budget and start paying down the debt. But that doesn't seem to bother anyone. Nobody seems to care that we have $20 trillion in debt from Obozo. No big deal. The other horrible thing is the way our money system is set up. We cannot increase the money supply without increasing the debt. This is horrible. So we need a mechanism for the Treasury to start pumping dollars directly in without debt. And until we have that, we're always going to be in debt. It's an impossible system. And the country does need to grow. So we do need to increase the money supply. Ergo, we need to increase the debt. It's madness. Trump is off in Davos, and he's schmoozing, and he loves schmoozing and acting like a bigwig with the other world leaders. And of course, he's taller than most of them and bigger than most of them. So, it's kind of fun for him, I guess. But for all of his talk of drumming up business, there's no talk of tariffs and protections for our producers here. So you have just way too many goods being dumped. And he announced that he is going to have tariffs on solar panels and I forget what else. Well, we kind of need those solar panels. I mean, if anything, to putting a tariff on solar panels is pretty bad. I wonder if we haven't lost the ability to compete in that market, because these kinds of cheap, mass-produced goods, it's going to be hard for us to compete with the Chinese and their slave labor. It's really going to be hard. We tend to really only have hopes of competing on products that are more complex. I think we need to have a 10% across the board security fee, don't call it a tariff, and look at countries that charge VATs and other huge 20-25% add-on fees to our products that their products don't have, and then we have to match that as well. So there's a lot of tightening that needs to be happening, and it isn't because of North Korea, principally, we think. But we're kind of over North Korea, although they have not launched a missile lately. I guess the last one they tried to launch blew up, and I guess their underground nuclear test site has collapsed. They're not very smart people, these North Koreans. And the other question is, who's giving them all this tech? I heard a lot of it's coming from Israel. That wouldn't surprise me. So, I think the better solution is to figure out who are their suppliers, because there's a lot of really high-tech, difficult parts. You need gyroscopes. You need GPS guidance systems. This is what we should be blocking. This is how we stop North Korea from making their next missile. So I hope we get on that and figure out where all that's coming from and start blocking it, making sure they can't get anything. So, overall, how is Trump doing? The one thing I really hate is he keeps talking about the low unemployment rate. Well, the unemployment rate is low because everybody's dead and has fallen off it. We've got a 92% out of the workforce rate. So every time he says, look at me, I've got the lowest unemployment in 20 years, I just cringe. I'm like, what a filthy little liar. That the real numbers of unemployment are way higher than anything the Great Depression ever saw. And now for 3 times as long. Shadowstats.com says we have a 22% unemployment rate now, down from 23. A bit of improvement, a modest bit. 22% unemployment is not anything for anyone to be proud of. There was another article on patriotmouse.com. Apparently, 71% of Silicon Valley workers are now from India. So they have replaced, there's no new jobs, they have replaced 71% of the engineers. Now, my guess is they've probably replaced 95% of their engineers with Indians. And the other people are managers, accountants, MBAs, marketing poofies. And the reality is, it just looks like 71% because all the other positions aren't quite engineering. The devastation of the H-1B visa, the genocide visa as I call it, is beyond belief. Never in world history has a country let its educated, hard-working class get utterly destroyed by bringing in millions and millions of third-world immigrants with fake degrees, fake resumes, fake brains, low IQ people coming in and saying, "Oh, we are the best. Oh yes, we are the best." No, you're not. You're not even mediocre. You're not even mediocre. You're maybe a warm body that hopefully won't cause a ton of trouble. If we're lucky. And luck never holds out with these people. So, don't know what to say. It's been kind of a gloomy Trump outlook. The only good news is all of these tweets coming out with this Lisa Page and Strzok, and hopefully the FISA memo will come out in a day or two. And that's really going to anger a lot of Americans. The question is, with a neutered cuck Jeff Sessions as Attorney General, can anything happen? And the other thing is, why is the Mueller investigation still happening? Why? Is there any evidence of any crime? No. Is there any evidence that Trump has done anything wrong? No. So how can you call the guy to testify? Testify against what? What is he defending him? What is the charge he's defending himself against? Well, you were president, so you have to testify. What? Doesn't make any goddamn sense. I think Trump should go in and just ask his own questions of Mueller, and kick his butt. And, by the way, did you read that Comey got like $4 million out of some scam and payoff he did? $4 million bucks. Boy, these guys live pretty high on the hog for all their graft and theft, and none of them go to jail. That pisses me off. I do everything right. I don't break the laws. I don't commit crimes. I get paid very little. It just doesn't seem right. Alright, that's the podcast for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. And please leave some comments below. And have a great week.